Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We are so glad that you're here to join us today for the semifinal race for the 5th annual Illusion of Gaia Randomizer tournament. My name is Don't Bagumi, and I am here as the commentator and creator of this game, and I am joined by Fico. Introduce yourself, Fico.
I don't know if there's a whole lot to introduce. I have played this randomizer many times. This year, deciding not to compete and instead doing commentary.
Very good. Well, we're glad to have you too. Glad to have you all here in chat. I am very hyped for this race. I want to see some hype in chat for those that are here as well. We had amazing races from both of these runners here today. We're going to see a semifinal race between SO5Z, former winner of this tournament in past years, and Suborskar, who has been playing this randomizer and practicing it like a beast, and really played an excellent game yesterday. And so we're going to see who gets to go on to the finals, which starts in about 2 hours after this. So whoever wins this race just gets to shrug it off a little bit, maybe take a drink of water, and then we're into the final race. Very exciting stuff, and I think we're ready to get started. Is there anything you want to say, Fico, before we begin, or should we just jump right in?
I think we should just go for it. I'm really excited to see this race.
There you go. All right, let's get it going then. So, as we're playing, we'll kind of explain what's going on. Start with... We're not going to start at the beginning of the vanilla game. We're going to start in any safe location in the game, so any town, and it looks like we are starting in... Oh, actually, this is the one example that's not a town, but is still considered safe. You can see on Suborskar's screen, he's a little ahead in the stream. We're actually starting in Sky Garden, but because it's in the lobby, it is considered safe, because you can run straight out and go to safe places without having to fight any enemies. However, both of our runners are choosing to go directly in and get a few items here. They're going into the southwest room. They can get a couple items and they can grab a dark space. So, just like a lot of other randomizers, the items are all shuffled throughout the world of this game. There are, I believe, 112 total items, but they're also getting abilities. Abilities are special moves that allow them to, fight enemies in different ways and unlock different parts of the game. They're both showcasing a ramp glitch here. You're supposed to get a bunch of momentum to go up over these ramps, but they're just cheating and they're just doing a pixel thing where they can just jump up the ramp. So a couple of cheaters here today, but we're okay with it.
Yeah, this particular area of Sky Garden is sort of like Glitch City. There's just a lot of different opportunities to break the game legally, of course.
Right,
But
so we're hitting the ground running. Yeah, that's right. So we were just talking about abilities, and Freedan, who's this beefy guy with the Fabio hair, just got Aura Barrier, which in the normal game is somewhat useless, but however, it does happen to have one use in the randomizer. You're not supposed to have it early in the game, but one of the playtesters found out early on that you can actually use Aura Barrier to unlock one of the areas in this particular dungeon, so I imagine they're probably both going to use it. And yeah, Suborskar is going straight over there to go use it right now, so we'll see it in action.
Yeah, it's pretty rare you get to see Aura Barrier actually be useful in the randomizer because, like you said, it's really only this one spot where it gets used, and if the player has Dark Friar, another Freedom ability already, Dark Friar can do everything that Aura Barrier can do, but a lot more. So this is one kind of unique circumstance where they have Aura Barrier, don't have Dark Friar, so we get to see them use it.
Right. In the vanilla game, they're intended to have Dark Friar at this point, and that's what they're supposed to. And so when we first started this randomizer, Aura Barrier was just not in logic at all. It was just a thing. But then somebody found out, it's like, hey, I can actually, make this work with Aura Barrier. So we added it into logic, and it actually has a use now. So that's great.
Right. I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever used Aura Barrier in the vanilla version of this game, like, in earnest.
It's not recommended.
trying it out maybe, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. In my Suborskar having trouble with that skip there, trying to get to that chest. There's a pixel perfect place you can stand where you can walk past that thing. We'll see SO5Z try it in a minute. Let's see if he gets it. Oh yeah, you can sneak past him, but if you're a pixel too far down, then you end up jumping down and losing out on your opportunity. All right, we had a bit of delay.
How much time would you say that that strat saves?
Only a couple seconds. The normal strat is you have to hit the statue. It sends off its twirly sword. You have to hit the twirly sword 3 times, and then you have to use your psychic telekinesis ability to move it a couple blocks, and then you can walk past it. So my guess is it probably saves about 4 seconds. So it's not a huge save, and actually, missing it loses a lot more time than it saves. So that was just an unfortunate start by Suborskar.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. This game's hard.
It is hard. All right, so they're both checking this dark space over here in the corner. There are 3, actually there's 4 dark spaces. The one that they started in, and then there are 3 other ones in the various rooms. Any of those 3 could have more abilities. We already got Aura Barrier, but Will, who is the shaggy-haired boy on Scar's screen, and Friedan, who's on Z's, they each have 3 abilities that do different things, and they unlock different parts of the game. Some of them may or may not be acquired, but they're almost all of them useful in one way or another.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that because there was an ability in the other dark space in Sky Garden, that means that the southeast area has to be a non-ability dark space in order to allow you to transform into Friedan.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there are, because of the logic of the game, some parts of the game assume that you have the ability to switch to another memory melody on Z's side. That's a good find. We'll explain that in a minute. But yes, so if you have an ability in a dark space, that means that you can't use that dark space to change into another form. So because the game needs you to be able to change into different forms, there are some parts of the game where if you find an ability in one dark space, you know that the other dark space has to be clear, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to form in order to do the things that you need to do. So yeah, in this case, there are 4 rooms out of the lobby of Sky Garden. The southeast and the northwest, I believe, are the 2 dark spaces that are linked. So I don't think the northwest had anything. I think the ability they found was in the southwest. So I think either of them could have abilities still.
Right. Yes. And this randomizer is being played with the completable logic, which means that all items in all dungeons are completable. The logic is never going to fall in such a way where certain items aren't accessible or certain dungeons can't be completed eventually.
That's right. So we see Z, he has gotten everything that he can at this point in Sky Garden. There is an item that's locked behind the Dark Friar ability, which neither of them have. It's kind of an expensive check, so I don't know if we'll ever see them come back to get that later. But for now, he's going to Frisia, where he gets Lola's letter. That's a great item. So the original game is very linear. It is, kind of an RPG format, but it's a little less open world than a lot of the more popular RPGs. There's not a whole lot of backtracking. There's not a whole lot of the world that's available to you. It's mostly story driven. And so to make it more fun as a randomizer, we did make some changes to some of the items to turn this into essentially an open world game. So the locations in the game, there are 19 of them, towns and dungeons and such, and they're separated into 5 different continents, 2 in the south and 3 in the north. And you can access any item or any location within its own continent. You can just easily access it that way. But in order to get between continents, you need to have certain items that unlock passage in specific ways. And so they got the memory melody, which Z is just now using with Neil, that makes it so that Neil remembers how to fly his airplane, and he can take Z to a bunch of different locations. Lola's letter is the other one. That one teaches Will Morse code so that he can talk to Seth, who is a river monster. Those who played the original game will be able to follow this a little bit better. It sounds a little bit convoluted, but you can access a bunch of the water adjacent locations in the game if you know Morse code, and Seth can take you where you want to go. So those are some of the examples of how we've sort of refabbed some of the items that in the game were just kind of normal story items. They didn't really add any abilities or do anything else. But we've made them so that you can use them to unlock locations and access more of the world.
Yeah, and the fact that both players got both Memory Melody and Lola's letters so early means we're probably going to see quite a bit of divergence early on in this race, because there are going to be a lot of options opening up to both players. That's
right. Yeah, so Z used his Memory Melody and went straight to Dao, and it looks like Suborskar's right on his heels and is doing the same thing. Dao is nice because you get a free, there's only 2 locations here, 4 free areas here in Dao. You could go into the pyramid. Technically, it's out of logic because you need a will ability in order to get something there. And then you need the aura, which unlocks your 3rd form that you can take, Shadow, in order to access the other 11 items in that. Pyramid is chock full of items, so we may see them, our runners, go there later once they have the aura. But they do get a free passage to the North Continent, so we probably will see Z do that in a second here. Go over to Euro and Natives Village and get a few more free items there.
So Z-Striker is saying he picked up Spin Dash. Did I just completely miss that, or is that in?
Looks like we did miss that. I think he probably got it in Dao. That's the only place that I think he could have gotten it. But yeah, that does make this lobby here in the pyramid in logic, because those orbs are really difficult to fight if you don't have a reliable way to do so. So yeah, he must have gotten Spin, and we'll see what Suborskar does, because if he gets it, he'll probably dump into that dark space and get Spin right on it.
Right. Though I will say, Z did clear those orbs in Pyramid yesterday. Made it look super easy, but that's, like you said, extremely difficult to do.
Yeah, it's possible, but there are some things that were too unreasonable, and we didn't, we wanted to take that out of logic. We do have a allow glitches variant that you can choose when you roll your seed, that throws in some of the more difficult things that may require you to do some of the normal logic. You need either Spin Dash or Psycho Slider in order to do what Suborskar is doing right now.
Z going into Anchor Watt, even though he doesn't have Slider, which is kind of interesting. I guess he's just doing the one item check near the front of the dungeon.
Yep. Yeah, you can get one item relatively quick and then just death warp out. You'll see the runners death warp a lot. It's kind of the easiest way to get out of a dungeon once you're in it, and it usually just warps you right to the start, and then you can leave. So we have a lot of strategic death warping going on throughout the run. And you might actually see the runners hold off on getting upgrades until later. The way that you get upgrades in this game, you can either clear certain rooms of all enemies, and then that will increase like your health or your strength or your defense. Or if you defeat a boss, then you essentially get all the upgrades that you missed in all of the rooms that are under that boss, quote unquote. And so I didn't know that as a kid when I played this game. I thought you had to clear every room, and so that's how I did it.
So did
I.
I.
Yeah, and then come to find out later, you can just skip all the rooms, and if you're good, then you can just get to the boss, and the boss will catch you up, essentially, with all the stuff. And so that's the way that most people in the randomizer get their upgrades, is they defeat boss There are 5 bosses in the game. Each boss is guarding a mystic statue. There's actually 6 mystic statues because one of them is behind a boss rush where you essentially refight the bosses you've already. But that's one of the clear conditions of the game. What we're trying to do is we're trying to defeat Dark Gaia, which is this malevolent force that is inhabiting a comet that is causing evolution to act in a weird way or something like that. And so we have to defeat that in order to get out of the time loop and move on, to future civilizations and things like that. So in order to do that, there's a certain number of things we need to do. First of all, we need to go there as that shadow form that we talked about, because Shadow's body is made from the essence of the comet, and he can actually survive on the comet. So that's the first thing. We have to find the aura in order to do that. The second thing is we need the Firebird attack, which, because Dark Gaia's face is too far away to hit with a normal attack, you need a ranged attack. And so the Firebird is the ranged attack that Shadow uses to defeat that enemy. And in order to do that, Will, as the Dark Knight, has to merge with Kara, who's the Light Knight. So the light and the dark have to come together, and that unlocks Firebird. And the way that we do that in the game is you have to rescue Kara from one of the 5 minor dungeons in the game. So we need the magic dust in order to free her from the painting that she's been entrapped. And then the third thing that we need to get is we need to get a certain number of mystic statues, those 6 that we talked about that are guarded by the bosses. In this particular variant of the game, you need 3 of the 6 statues in order to unlock that end game condition. And this is a player's choice seed, meaning that the players can choose whichever 3 they want. They're not locked into their choice. And so we might see them choose different ones depending on what items they get and or what bosses they're most comfortable fighting.
And Suborskar found Earthquaker in Mount Cress, which is the other Freeden ability, which has very limited use. It's pretty much its only use is in Anchor Watt. There is a particular spot where you can use it to progress, but much like Aura Barrier, if you have Dark Friar as well as the Friar upgrade, which I believe both players have already gotten.
I believe you're right.
You don't even need Earthquaker, but it could potentially come in handy in the seed. We still don't know where Darkfriar is going to be, so we will see.
All right, so as Fico predicted, we do have a bit of a dive here. Both players have essentially the entire world open to them, so they could choose to go anywhere. Suborskar has chosen to dip into Mount Cress. Normally, you would need 3 mushroom drops to full clear this dungeon. He only has 1, so he gets access to a couple items in dark spaces. He can check for abilities, but he may have to come back here and backtrack, so it's a bit of a gamble. Z has taken the elevator key that has come here to the diamond mine. There's kind of 2 paths you can take. One that's in the elevator key that gets you a couple of items, and then he's now doing the main part of the dungeon, where now that he has spin dash, he can pretty much full clear this as well. So I'm kind of liking Z's choice here because he's going to a dungeon that he can finish right off the bat, and he also got Lance's letter, which tells us where Kara is located, and we found out that she's located in Anchor Watt. So he doesn't even need the magic dust to full clear this dungeon. He can just be one and done and go on his merry way and never.
Right. A big part of the routing and strategy in this randomizer is basically minimizing the amount of times that you have to go back to a place that you've already been. So when you have an opportunity to completely clear a dungeon and never have to go back or think about it again, that's usually a pretty good play. And it's made even better in this case because we also saw a hint earlier that Psycho Slider is here. So Z will be getting that fairly soon as well.
Now, Suborskar's gamble did not fall flat because he did end up finding the magic dust. here, and he also found a second. Oh wait, is that his? Yeah, was that the first mushroom drop? No, he still has one mushroom. But he did find the magic dust, which is a required item, and so that's nice for him to have. That means that when he gets Psycho Slider, he can go directly into Anchor Watt, go directly to the end, and free Kara, and that's one end game condition that's finished.
Yep. And I believe he saw that hint for where Psycho Slider is as well, so that creates a pretty clear route for him, so it worked out pretty well.
Okay, so Z is almost done here with Diamond Mine. There are two dark spaces here at the end of this little winding maze area that he can look, farm a couple abilities. I missed. Okay, so Fico, you said that we got a hint that said that Slider is here in Diamond Mine?
Yes.
Okay, so one of these must have Slider.
Yep.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm. So there are, Diamond Mine has a lot of dark spaces. In terms of general routing, this is usually a dungeon that's kind of nice to go to soon if you can clear a lot of it, because, there's just a lot of opportunities to get abilities, particularly Dark Friar, which is often the hardest one to find because Freedom powers are, at least in this logic type, are only found in dungeon dark spaces.
Suborskar getting trolled by receiving a second set of mushroom drops right after he dipped into Mount. So if he had decided to go to the Tower of Babel first, then he would have been able to clear more of that dungeon when he first.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is just kind of unavoidable. This randomizer likes to be trolly and likes to make you regret your decisions after the fact.
Yeah, our players are. It's anyone's game at this point. I would say that Z is slightly ahead just with his routing choices. He's finished with Diamond Mine. Suborskar's on his heels directly going in. And we'll be able to full clear this just like Z did, but Z's now exploring more of the world. So see where he's going now. Okay, so he's going to the northeast continent. He's going to get some free items here in Watermia. And let's see, where do we think he'll go after this?
I could see him going to Great Wall to check some more of the dark spaces there, and if one of them does have Friar, he could defeat the Sandfanger boss, which is there, and just kind of knock that out real quick. Great Wall is one of those dungeons that's not too bad to go into and then go back later, because when you have Spin Dash, you can kind of skip to the end pretty quickly. So, I don't know. That would be my first instinct if I were playing here, but we will see.
Yeah, now that he's here on this continent, there's actually not really a bad choice he has to make. All the locations on this continent here with Watermia could all yield good results. He does have a Statue of Hope, which allows him to go pretty far in Mew, which is essentially this game's water dungeon. You have different levels that are unlocked by the Hope statues, and you need 2 of them to get the whole thing cleared. But if you have 1, you can do a decent job of getting some items, dark spaces checked. Again, he can full clear Angel Village as well now that he has Slider, and he knows that Kara is not there. She could be there, and so he can get, I think, 6 items out of that dungeon. It's pretty good. Right. And then, like you said, Great Wall, which it looks like this is the choice that he made. He can get 4 free items and check a dark space. And if he happens to get Friar, then he can full clear this dungeon, get his first Mystic statue under his belt, and he's one of the 2 down, or one of the 3 down.
Yeah, and I will suspect that regardless of what happens here in Great Wall, I think probably like you said, Angel Village is probably the next place to go after that for Z as well, just because you can get all the items and never have to think about it again, and it's right here on this continent.
Yeah, there is a dark space on the way to Angel Village too that he can when he goes. And there's also a jeweler that he can drop off some red jewels at. I didn't see what the... Okay, so the jeweler in this game is kind of like your shop, if you will. You may have noticed that the players are picking up lots of red jewels. There are 50 of them in the game, and they're essentially the currency that you use to get rewards from the jeweler. There are 6 items that you can get from the jeweler by turning in red jewels, which Z is doing on the fly as we speak. The nice thing about red jewels is that you can lift them up and they remove from your inventory, and then your precious 16 slots are freed up to take more items. But then if you get a certain number of red jewels, I think 38 is what I saw. If you get 38 red jewels, then you get transported to the secret dungeon, which is Jeweler's Mansion. There's 1 item there, and if you have Slider, then you can also get a 6th Mystic statue going that route. So we might see some solid arm fights later in this game as well.
Yeah, and if you do have the red jewels to fight solid arm and use that pathway to get to the 6th Mystic statue, that is almost always going to be faster than going through the boss rush, which is pretty time consuming. That's the other way that you can get that same Mystic statue. But yeah, the jeweler is kind of interesting in this randomizer because there are certain seeds where he's got a lot of really good stuff and becomes really a pivotal part of the routing, and then there are other seeds where he's got kind of a lot of garbage, maybe even some of his own red jewels, which is kind of hilarious, but can happen. And it looked like in this seed there wasn't a whole lot of super good stuff that the jeweler had, so probably players are not going to be too worried about trying to get a ton of red jewels, but being able to get access to solid arm can potentially save a lot of time, and you're going to pick up a bunch of them just by going through various checks anyway, so we will see.
Now, Z's routing paid off here. I would have made a different choice, like I said. I probably would have gone to Angel Village first, and then I probably would have dipped into Mew just because it's right there. But then what I would have done is I would have missed out on the 2nd Hope statue that Z picked up in Great Wall by going there first. So that gives him, and now that he has Slider, he can full clear Mew minus the bosses, the vampires, which anybody who's played this game has PTSD from the vampires. I certainly do. Fighting them as Shadow, especially with early Firebird, is a cathartic experience. I recommend for everybody that had issues with those vampires as a kid. It's like a little revenge there. So I think that on its own is worth coding this randomizer, is just to give people some revenge against those vampires. But anyway, now that Z is here with both Hope statues and with Slider, he can get all the items in the dark spaces from this place, and again, maybe never even come back if he decides not to fight the...
Yep. And Suborskar is going into Angkor Wat. He does have all the necessary things he needs to rescue Kara and get all the items there. Can be kind of a tricky dungeon to get through when you don't have any item upgrades. The enemies here are pretty strong. There are a lot of really annoying enemies that can... Oh, got deaths on both sides. Yeah, I mean, when you have no upgrades, it's really easy. One or two mistakes can really set you back. It's pretty hard to avoid dying in this randomizer. The runners make it look easy, but it really is not a trivial thing to avoid deaths.
Yeah, these 2 bugs that Suborskar is fighting right now is definitely a gatekeeping portion of the dungeon. And he's doing a strat where he runs down to reset and get rid of all those little nasty worms that are being spit out by those bugs at them, which can really body you really quick. So he was able to get past that 2nd try. Good job.
Mm-hmm. And then this room in the game that Suborskar is in has always kind of confused me. Are there supposed to be bugs on the floor?
I think so.
This has confused me for my entire life. I still don't really know.
I think actually that this room that we're talking about was the inspiration for the creation of dubstep.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, because as you step on them, it goes dub 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 dub
yes.
dub dub dub.
Makes me think of dubstep immediately.
Yeah, who doesn't? Hey, Solar and Company. Solar rating with his. He must have just finished his stream. Solar is one of the original playtesters of this randomizer. I reached out to him when I was first starting, and he's one of the guys that stuck with it through all the bugs and all of the uncompletable seeds and all the growing pains and stuff, and is still a mod of the community and is just a great guy. So is a world record holder of several categories of the vanilla game. So welcome, Solar and Company.
He's also going to be playing in the finals race right after this as well, so you'll get to see him and his world record skills in action very soon.
Yep, Turbo backing up what I assume is my version of how dubsteps. I don't know. I think I'm onto something there. I think I should go and edit the Wikipedia page for dubstep.
Hmm.
All right, so both of our runners making pretty short work of the respective dungeons that they have chosen. Suborskar is about to use the intended method of getting past this golem here by using Earthquaker. This is the intended way to freeze this guy in place so you can run past him. But a lot of speedrunners, if they have, like Fico mentioned earlier, if you have the Friar ability with an upgrade, then you can line up kind of a pixel perfect way and hit him from afar. So most people skip Earthquaker when they're just speedrunning this game. We got to see it in action here in the randomizer.
And Suborskar also showing off this, what I think is kind of a nifty speed strat, where you there's this kind of offshoot of the main path which has a chest. So the fastest way to go through it is to go past that route divergence and go into this sort of middle garden area, which sets your death spawn point right there, and then you can go back, get the item, and death warp, and it also will then transform you from Frieden into Will, which you need to be in order to continue on in the dungeon. Which is kind of a cool little optimization there.
Yeah. Solar, take note of what Z is doing right now. There is an item over in this direction, contrary to the opinion of some.
You are devious.
I'm throwing some shade at Solar because during a race, we call this the bald spot. Solar, our bald friend, missed this in a race, and it turned out to be a critical item. In this case, it was a less critical item. Z got his father's journal, which is very nostalgic, but not incredibly useful for a player choice seed. Father's journal gives you the order of the 6 hieroglyphs that are needed to unlock Mummy Queen, who's the 5th boss of this game. So if you're not required to fight her, it's a long it requires 7 items to even. You're almost never going to see a Mummy Queen fight in a player choice seed like this, so pretty much.
And Suborskar, very low health here. Gonna have to be really careful going through this last bit of Anchor Wat. Gonna use an herb. I think that was a smart call.
Yep, I would have. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have them for a reason.
All right, and as predicted, Z is now going into Angel Village and is going to dungeon as well.
Angel Village was always one of my favorite dungeons in the vanilla game, which maybe sounds weird to say because it's a little generic, but it's kind of like a breath of fresh air after Mew, which is a really annoying and difficult dungeon. Suborskar has now rescued Kara, so that is one item off the checklist.
And for his trouble, he also got a hint that the end of Mount Cress has a hieroglyph tile, so that tells him
that is a very useful hint.
Yeah, so that tells him he doesn't need to go to the very end of Mount Crest and get that final item. He can skip it. All right, Z actually getting a defense upgrade from this room by defeating the bosses. By defeating all of the enemies in a room. I said earlier that that wasn't necessarily something that happens a lot, in the randomizer, but some rooms have like 2 or 3 enemies in them. And so a lot of times if you're early game like this and it's easy to get bodied by some of the late game enemies, it might be a good idea to at least just check the map and see if there's an upgrade. And if there is, take the time to kill the 2 or 3 enemies and get your upgrade, and you're a little bit stronger moving forward. Looks like Z has made that choice.
And that one is always a defense upgrade, right? I'm pretty sure.
Not always. No, it
Okay.
could be any of the 3. So if you hit the start menu, then you'll see a pulsing thing if there is an upgrade. And if you're wearing the black glasses, it'll actually tell you which upgrade you're.
Oh, I actually never knew that.
Yeah, that was another way that we were trying to make the black glasses useful, because what they do is they open up, they allow you to see in the dark room in Angkor Wat, but if you know your way around, it's pretty easy to walk around without the glasses. So for a lot of speedrunners, the black glasses became kind of a useless item. Well, we just decided to make it a little bit more useful by adding that functionality to it, and it also makes you look cool, wearing sunglasses.
Yes. It also saves you from being blinded by the extremely bright room.
Right, exactly. Oh wait, oh yeah, you're right. It's a bright room, not a dark room. So I was putting my Link to the Past hat on for a minute.
Yeah, and if you're playing this, especially if you're playing this on a CRT, it's like, oh my god, it's like looking at the sun. It's terrible.
Hey. All right. Now Suborskar has finished rescuing Kara and has made his way to the first continent. And has made quick work of those bugs using Spin Dash, which is not an ability that he is meant to have at this point in the game. It really trivializes that time to fight so that he can get an item.
I feel like the Moon Tribe should hop in and be like, hey, that's cheating. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It's supposed to be a challenge.
We'll get Ray on that.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Raven Zero. So Raven is one of the other developers on the team here in the randomizer community, and he's essentially taken over this project from a development standpoint, worlds beyond me in just my understanding of assembly code in particular and the workings of the SNES. And essentially what Ray did was he took my project, which was held together by like duct tape and a sock, and he actually rewrote it in the right way. And so what you see today is essentially, I essentially consider it to be his creation. So he's added a whole bunch of really neat variants and things like that. So shout outs to Ray. That guy's awesome.
Starting out in Italy Village, which is my personal favorite area in this game. It's very scenic, mountain views. Wasn't able to complete everything there because if you have the necklace, you can get Lily to join you, and that unlocks a few additional things. It allows you to get an item from the coffins in Seaside Palace, and then it also allows you to progress all the way through the underground tunnel / Edward's prison dungeon as well. So once one of the players gets the necklace, they will be able to do that, but unfortunately that's not available yet.
Yeah, so one of the nice things that was important to me as I was putting together this randomizer was not just to make it make sense mechanically, but also to kind of have a shout out and have a place for every NPC in the vanilla. Like I wanted to, those that like this game, have fond memories of it, I think have a respect for the story of the game. It is kind of a robust story, and So, oh gosh, where was I? Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I wanted to find a use for each of the NPCs. Yeah, so Neil, flies his airplane and gets you around. Kara, of course, is who you rescue and merge to become, the unlock the Firebird attack. Seth, in his, you never see him, but in his river form, he helps get you around, kind of similar to what Neil is doing. Yeah, so like everybody has a place. Uh, I don't know. I thought that was a nice little love letter to the, trying to stay true to the original story of the game, not just.
Yeah, I think the randomizer does a great job of sort of capturing the charm and narrative spirit of the game. So I think that's part of what gives this randomizer a lot of appeal to people who maybe aren't interested in racing or in competing in the randomizer, but just want to like play through it casually. It maintains a lot of that charm that the original has, and I really appreciate that. So well done.
Well, thank you, thank you. If you want to play the game, iogr.app. That's the website that you can go. And if you have a US version of the ROM of the game, then you can roll a seed and start going to work. We have a great Discord community. I believe there's a way I can put that in chat right there. Yep, there you go. You can join the Discord community with that link that I just put into chat. Nicest community you'll ever meet. I know a lot of people say that about their own communities, but I think
It's
that I'm
actually true
correct.
this time. Yes.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, again, I think there's a very strong correlation between people who are drawn to this game and are fond of this game and just good, friendly people. They're just, something about that correlation that has really made this just one of the most fun communities I've ever been a part of. Yeah, so if you have questions about how to play the game, there are no stupid questions at all. Everybody's happy to help and just make sure that everybody enjoys the game. And we just saw Suborskar do a glitch that is named after his rival in this race right now. That was that ladder glitch where he climbed down into the void and entered into the door before he was supposed to. That was something that was a mechanic that was discovered by SO5Z, who's playing the game with him right now. So we call it the Z ladder skip. And that really revolutionized pretty much every speedrunning category of the vanilla game as well. That was just a new tech that was found through the randomizer, and that changed the way the game is speedrun.
Yeah, it's a little bit less impactful in the randomizer because you do have to kind of go backwards in order to get one item after you do the Z ladder, but it is still definitely a time save.
Oh, Queen has arrived in the chat. Shout out to Queen and B. Nice to see you. Ooh, okay. She had a couple questions. Why does Lily enjoy Will's pockets? Fico, what's your answer? OZ.
I'm sure there's a pun here somewhere, but I don't know what it is. Why does Lily enjoy Will's pocket?
I don't know. It's warm. The second question she has: how does a shelf cake survive so long without molding?
It doesn't.
Yeah, I would not eat that.
When they take it out, it's evidently as solid as a rock. Like it's not on a plate or anything. Lily literally grabs the cake and then just like plops it on the table like it's a brick. So
I'm pretty sure they don't have refrigeration in this.
No, definitely not. I'm sure that snail pie was also pretty nasty.
Oh, that's. Hey, Queen! Happy birthday! It's Queen's birthday today. Shout out Queen in the chat.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah, it's interesting that she pointed that out. She's normally doesn't like attention brought to herself and isn't one to to speak up. She's usually very very demure. So glad she spoke up today. Oh, Z
and
has
Z
an
found
ability.
Dark Friar.
There it is.
right, so Z has basically all of the abilities that you actually need and are useful in the randomizer. It doesn't have Psycho Dash, but much like Aura Barrier and Earthquaker for Frieden, Psycho Dash is only useful if you don't have Spin Dash or Slider. Basically, it doesn't have any uses that those abilities can't also fill. So Z now has all the abilities that he really needs.
I was laughing because Suborskar got a vanilla prison key. So he went down into the prison cell, which is normal. If you don't have the key, it's normally a dead end, and you have to warp back to start over. But that's Hamlet comes and gives you a key to get out in the vanilla game. I think that's the first time I've seen in the randomizer Hamlet actually give the prison key.
Is this even randomized?
I know. I missed
Sorry,
that. I apologize.
It's actually funny every time.
It absolutely is. And because he has Lily with him, he can actually full clear this dungeon. So that's a nice, very serendipity.
Right. And it's kind of interesting because this is the first dungeon in the vanilla game, but in the randomizer, it's often the last dungeon you go to, if at all, because it's completely linear. So if you can't go all the way through to the end, it's kind of not really worth it to go there. And you need effectively 3 items in order to get all the way through. You need the prison key to get out of the jail cell. And then you need Lola's Melody and Necklace in order to get Lily to do this final part right here. But in this seed, we get to see it, not too close to the end, which is a little bit unique.
Okay, so Z does have a Mystic statue available to. He could go defeat Sandfinger in the Great Wall of China, and he can go get his 4th Mystic statue. So he might do that at some point. Again, the trade-off of that, though, is that once you defeat a boss, you get a whole bunch of stat upgrades, and you've seen these runners utilize death warping a lot in order to speed things up. Makes death warping slower when you have higher defense and health scores. So he may hold off doing that until the very end. Kind of a high risk, high reward strategy to stay more squishy, so that you can quickly death warp out and save a few seconds.
Right, and Z did also clear all of the non-ability. Cleared all the items, not all the dark spaces, but he has all the abilities, but cleared all the items in Great Wall already. So, apart from defeating Sandfinger and getting that Mystic Statue, there isn't anything else to be gained by going back. So I think we will see him probably wait a little while before doing that, and maybe doesn't do it at all, potentially, if depending on whether items become available.
Now, on the same token, it looks like Suborskar has access to Viper. He has all 4 crystal balls, which allows him to access the final boss of the Sky Garden, which is actually where we started this game. So maybe next time he warps to start, he'll just hop in and get Viper. That would also give him kind of an unconventional access to the Seaside Palace. It looks like neither of our runners have the palace key, which is the conventional way to get in. But you also get a one-way warp there if you beat Viper. You'll have to warp back out if you don't have the key to escape, but that give you access to at least 3 items. And in Suborskar's case, he has both the Purification Stone and he has Lily, so he can get all 5 items.
Right.
So that might be a good next step.
Z can potentially go to Seaside Palace as well, because he has the Teapot, which is another one of the transportation items, which allows the player to go between the Moon Tribe camp, the Sky Garden, and Seaside Palace.
That's right. Forgot about that one.
But yeah, it is very nice for Suborskar to have the 4 crystal balls, because out of all of the Mystic Statue bosses, Viper is, I I think you would agree, is like the fastest and also probably one of the easier ones that you can take down. So if you have access to Viper, it's usually a good choice to pick him as one of the bosses when you are playing a player choice seed.
Right. Yeah, the Sky Garden has sort of a wheel and spoke layout to where you don't have to get all the way to the end of a long dungeon in order to get to the boss. You can just get it right up.
Yeah, definitely
And
the
here he
most
goes.
convenient dungeon in this game for the randomizer. And we're gonna see our first boss fight.
Oh, another thing I just noticed. It looks like Suborskar has access to Fanger as well because he has rescued Kara and he has the Crystal Ring, which unlocks the early Firebird ability. So that essentially replaces Dark Friar as the go-to ranged ability that would allow him to get to the end of the Great Wall. So Suborskar, with access to 2 of the 3 bosses that he needs, and he's rescued Kara, things are looking pretty good for Suborskar.
Yeah, definitely in a very good position right now.
Making quick work of Viper. Well done. GG. Yeah, that was a boss that gave, I think almost all the runners yesterday some trouble. I think Solar was the only runner who was able to escape unscathed from that boss fight.
Yeah, I think it's one of those bosses where the risk of dying goes up by quite a lot if you try to go as quickly as possible. If you play it a little bit more safe and a little bit slower, the risk of death is not super high. But most of these runners are willing to gamble and go for the faster strats, which I definitely respect. I do not have the skill at this game to go for the speedrun strats against Viper.
Oh, Wilden bringing up a good point in chat. Suborskar is technically in go mode because with Aura and wait, does he have Aura? He does not have Aura. He needs Aura in order to do the boss rush. If he had Aura, then he would be in go mode. He would be able to do the boss rush and get the 6th statue that way. But yeah, once Suborskar finds the Aura, he can finish the game without any other abilities. Oh, that's right. So he doesn't. Oh, he just found Aura. So okay, there we go.
Okay.
he's in go mode.
Commentator's curse.
All right, so this may be the first that we see the boss rush actually be done in a race, because normally it takes so much longer to do the boss rush than to get the 6th statue by going to solid arm, by turning in all the jewels. But this is one of those rare cases where it might actually take longer to go find all the jewels you need, and it's just faster to do the boss rush. We'll see if he goes for it.
Right.
All right, Great Wall. He's going to go get Fanger. Get his 2nd Mystic statue. Man, he'll have 2 Mystic statues before Z. Z hasn't rescued Kara yet, has he?
No, he is not. I'm not sure why Suborskar is going through the bottom part of Great Wall, because he doesn't need any additional items.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, the boss rush conditions are so enigmatic for runners of this game. It's just not something that's probably front of mind. So maybe he doesn't even know he's in go mode.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely played Seeds of this. I think especially with early Firebird too, where it's rare that you have access to that before you have access to Dark Friar. So remembering that it can essentially replace that ability. It's easy for us on commentary where we're not playing the game to like break down the routing and everything that's available. But when you're trying to go fast and concentrating on playing the game and not dying, it can be hard to keep track of all the options that are available to you.
Yeah, well, even I missed it. I mean, Wilden had to bring it up. I mean, he was absolutely wrong because we didn't have Aura, and I'm not going to let him forget that. But at the same time, it did, I did need a little bit of memory to make that connection.
Yeah, the routing in this randomizer can get pretty complicated, and that's part of why I think it's fun. That you can be a really experienced runner, and you still have to like really think about the different paths that you can take.
All right, so so we know that Suborskar, whether he recognizes it or not, is in code. Let me take a look at Z's inventory and see what we're going here. He can definitely get Fanger. So he has that option. He's not found the aura yet.
Can rescue Kara as well.
Yeah, so he can rescue Kara and he can get Fanger, but that's really all he can do. Suborskar's routing has led him to 2 additional crystal balls Z does not have. So Z does not have Viper available to him at this moment. And I think Z is going to get Aura here in a second, so that does unlock the boss rush for him as well. What else is going on with his inventory? He has no Ramas, so the vampires are useless to him.
And neither player has found any Rama statues, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't go very far to get to cast off. So yeah, it looks like. Yeah, I think statues 2, 4, and 6 are going to be the way we're going to see this go. Maybe for both runners. Whether the runners realize that they can do the boss rush and they don't need to wait to get all the get all the red jewels in order to go the faster, quote unquote faster. We'll see if the knowledge of the randomizer holds up.
Yeah, and Suborskar might realize that as he is going through Great Wall and fighting Sandfanger as well.
This is true. Sandfinger is a longer fight with a lot of, so he'll probably have time to do some soul searching. I mean, at least he knows that he can skip looking for Friar, so he's that dark space down.
Right. Maybe think about what he's gonna have for dinner tonight. So this Sandfanger boss, sort of infamous for being, like Bagu said, for being a very RNG heavy boss. It has 3 main patterns. There's this one right here where it goes straight up and straight down. There's another one where it sort of, like bounces across the sand. We saw that a little bit earlier. And then the one that you really want, the one that allows you to really wail on him is this one right here.
There it is.
Where he spits these eggs, and that allows you to get in a bunch of hits. So depending on how many of those egg cycles you get, the amount of time it takes to defeat the boss can vary quite a bit.
Another claim to fame for the randomizer for the speedrunning community, and another shout out to Raven Zero, who made this discovery by literally looking at zeros and ones of the code of this boss fight, is it's been known for a long time that eggs, of course, are the best cycle to get. The horizontal cycle that we see right now is second best, and then the worst one is the vertical cycle where Fanger goes up, because that takes the longest, and you can only get 2 hits on him when he does that. I guess her, you get get the hits on her when she goes up. But it turns out that depending on where you stand, you can force a higher percentage chance of a vertical versus a horizontal. And so you'll see probably both runners standing to the left of one of those grates in the back, because that doubles the chance for there to be a horizontal versus vertical cycle. And no one in the speedrunning community knew that was even a thing. They just kind of stood wherever they wanted to. And now everybody stands to the left of a grate, because that left of grate is great.
Everyone except me, because I did not know that until you just told me.
Well, there you go. This is why you should become a commentator in this community for these races, because you learn things.
There you go.
That you can take with you. Wow, Suborskar just now getting into Watermia, and it seems like he does not realize he's in go mode. Going and gather. Oh, I hope he doesn't get too distracted and trying to access things in a different way.
Yeah, do we know how many red jewels he has
It says
Inventory,
30.
no, it says 31, but I believe that's how many have been cached,
Turned in.
so to speak, not including ones that are just sitting in the inventory.
That's correct.
So, yeah, he might be thinking about trying to get to 38 red jewels first, and then using that to get the 6th statue, which could potentially be not that much slower, depending on how long it takes to get those jewels, but we will see.
Okay, 33. So we just got an updated number from him. Thing about red jewels in this game is that when you don't need red jewels, that's all you get, and then when you're looking for red jewels, they're just nowhere.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So if he's waiting for red jewels, I think he's probably going to have to dip into 2 or 3 dungeons he wouldn't have to dip into normally, in order to find them.
I forget, has Suborskar been to Mew yet?
I don't believe he has. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. So, quite a bit of items that can be got here.
Mm-hmm.
Is able to access all of the items because he has both of the Hope statues.
Oh, Suborskar, you have the answer in your heart all along. You don't need to be doing this, man. Click your heels together 3 times. See, there's no place like home. You could have gone home at any time. Alright, we see Z getting his Fanger fight in. About to get his first Mystic statue of the 3 that he needs. I suppose something else that could happen if Suborskar finds the first Inca statue, that would be an item that would allow him to get kicked off. So that's an alternate path that this could take. He could go, maybe he dips into the pyramid or something, and he goes and finds Inca statue A. Then he's in his mind in go mode.
Yep.
He could go straight to cast off, and that's a pretty fast boss to get because again he's been to Inca ruins. He's opened up the shortcuts. He can just pretty much jump down and without very much time commitment go beat off relatively.
Yep. And he has access to Shadow, so 1 rounding cast off is not a huge deal.
Yeah, Weldon, I agree with you. I'm very interested to see how. Oh, okay. Suborskar, we see an example of why it's sometimes good to hold off fighting bosses because it takes so long to death warp out of these places. It's still the fastest way to do it, but when you're only taking 1 HP hit every time, it can be excruciating.
Yep. But I mean, Suborskar might be thinking about going to the pyramid too right now.
I mean, honestly, it's probably the best thing. Neither of our runners been to the pyramid, and neither of them have Inca statue A, which I'm beginning to kind of thinking about Suborskar's state of mind. I'm thinking he's probably either waiting for red jewels or he's waiting for that Inca statue in order to get his next, to get his go mode condition. And I'm thinking there's probably red jewels and maybe even the Inca statue in the pyramid. 12 items to contend with there. I guess 11 because they got 1 already.
Yeah, it seems pretty likely.
Oh, does he have enough jewels? Is he checking in to see if he has it? 36. He has 2. Yep, he's definitely looking for red jewels. He needs 2 more. Poor soul.
Yeah. I mean, if he finds those jewels quickly, it might end up being not that much of a time loss compared to doing the boss rush, because that boss rush is pretty lengthy.
It is, and that's true. And he is a little underpowered for the boss rush because a lot of the bosses, in those rush do a ton of damage. And you don't get a whole lot of room to rest or heal up in between them.
Right. He does have a good herb count, though, so that does make a difference.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he is quite a bit ahead of Z just as far as go mode progression. So
right.
even if it takes him a while to find certain things, I would still put him as the likely to. But again, I think it's still anybody's game depending on how committed Suborskar is to, to finding these items.
Yep. I think both of the remaining crystal balls that Z doesn't have are in Anchor Wat, so I think he will also get access to Viper after clearing this and rescuing Kara. I might be wrong about that. It's a little bit hard to keep track of where everything is when both players are going at the same time, but I think that is how it went down.
I think he actually got the crystal balls in the underground tunnel. Which, again, we have a vanilla placement for the prison key. So, and Wilden made this point in the chat. I feel like Z is going to be hard pressed to choose to go all the way to the underground tunnel without getting that key. But the key's right there. He just doesn't know it.
Yep.
Oh, this is so interesting. Okay.
We didn't get a chance to talk about this when Z was going through Angel Village, but this Ishtar puzzle section of the randomizer I think is super interesting. In the vanilla game, the way that it works is you go into these rooms and you have to point out what the difference is between the two of them. And in the vanilla game, it's kind of lame because it's exactly the same every time you play the game. So if you've played the game before, you know exactly where the discrepancies are. But in the randomizer, it's different every time, and some of the differences can be really subtle. I know there was one that I got once where the difference was that one of the jars was literally one tile to the left in one of the rooms, and that was the difference. And I could not find it. I posted about it in the Discord because I was like, I cannot see the difference here. So, yeah, exactly. But I think it's really cool that it would have been really easy for you to just keep it the same, but
no,
went the extra mile.
Yeah, we don't do things the easy way. We do them the right way.
Exactly.
Okay, so Suborskar noped out after getting two of the red jewels that he needs from this dungeon. So he is thoroughly convinced now that he is in go mode. We're going to see a solid arm fight, and then we're going to see a Dark Gaia fight, and I think it's going to be Suborskar's game.
Does look that way.
All right, here he goes, off to the mansion.
This dungeon is also super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the purple and red.
Yeah, you notice the enemies. The enemy design is the same as the diamond mine, but the enemies hit harder than any other enemy in the game. And also, the main final boss of this dungeon is lag. Every time one of those phasers gets off, it's going to happen right now. Anytime one of those phasers gets off his whip, it spawns like 7 or 8 different sprites that are all articulated, and with these floating, spirits and everything else, and all the other enemies going around, it just really lags down.
Yeah, that 1991 hardware definitely struggles with this area.
Yeah. All right, so here's Solid Arm. Here's another catharsis moment for those of you that had a hard time with this boss as a kid. Shout outs to Mr. Freet, who discovered this setup. You can put yourself on a perfect pixel and make it so that you can stand in a place and wail on him, and then his attacks do nothing to you. So here we go. Here's Solid Arm. And there's Solid Arm.
It's that easy.
Sorry I couldn't bring closure to those of you that wanted to see the vampires get bodied in this seed. I don't think it's going to happen today. It may happen in about an hour when we do the finals, so make sure to stick around after this, and we're going to have a fight between myself, Solar, and my guess is correct, Suborskar is going to be there as well. 3 of us racing for the title, and also for a really, really cool custom-made cube by Link. I'm gonna put up the thing in chat as well. TomatoTV.etsy.com is the artist who has, for the past 5 years, has made a different custom cube art based on the illusion of Gaia. This, you know, we'll show it after the race, what everybody's racing to get. But yeah, Suborskar is off to fight Dark Gaia, and he'll be back in a fight.
Who is leading in terms of tournament wins for this this annual event?
No one. We've had 4 so far, and we've had 4 different winners.
Oh, great!
Pretty cool.
So
and
someone is probably about to take the lead, unless I don't think Suborskar has ever won, but
no, and I haven't won either. So 2 of the 3
really?
runners, 2 of the 3 runners, could just be brand new, winners of the tournament. Solar has won before, but the other 2 have not. So yeah, I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see
yourself win. Shocking.
I want to see the trend continue. Honestly, I'd be happy if Suborskar went. I'd be happy if anybody, really. But Suborskar, I feel like, has just, he's definitely the, I guess, the underdog in this situation. Kind of a newer name, but he's been working so hard and has been practicing so much. If he were to win, I think I would be happy. I'd be very happy to see Suborskar win this and come home with a cube.
Oh, the stream is frozen for Suborskar. We're not getting to see the final boss.
I know we're just adding to the anticipation. So it's all by choice.
Ooh, good timing.
Mm-hmm.
Right on the second phase.
All right, we'll see what Suborskar is able to get a 3-cycle fight out of this. So far, so good. If you get 5 hits, you can get at least 4 hits each cycle. And if you do that, then it takes 4 cycles to bring him down. Bring her down. Sorry. And then, but if you get 5 hits, then you can do it in 3 cycles. So just for swag points, see if Suborskar can. Oh, he got it. He got the 3 cycles.
Okay.
All right. Next cycle, as long as he doesn't die, which given his stats is not a problem.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah. So Dark Gaia is gonna fall in probably about 10 seconds here, and that'll be GG for Suborskar. And there it is. Suborskar GG.
Very good game.
That was a fun game to watch. All right. So Suborskar gets to. Mm-hmm. Yep, Suborskar gets to roll his shoulders a little bit. Maybe have a sip of water, and we will see him in the finals in about 45 minutes here, and that will conclude the IOG randomizer for this year, the 5th annual, and we'll have a winner at the end of that. I did not know that you could psycho slide through those things in the underground tunnel. Thank you, Z, for showing me that.
Mm.
Wow, okay, that's... Actually, I feel like it might still be faster to do it the vanilla. That's good to know that mechanic exists.
You made this randomizer, and even you are learning new things.
I know. Oh yeah, but Weldon, fresh off of his win, pointing out the fact that he could have done the boss rush. It all worked out though. Oh yeah, the 50-minute mark. Just shows how robust, or how I don't know what the word is, but how volatile this randomizer is. There's always something going on. There's lots of things to keep in your head at once.
Yep.
And
so many different paths
it's really fun.
to achieving the same goals.
Mm-hmm.
we gonna get Suborskar in for an interview?
I don't think so. He declined an interview yesterday,
Fair enough.
and yeah,
Gotta stay locked in for the finals.
yeah, I know he's got to get into the right heads. Okay, so Z. All right, so Z can definitely get solid arm. He has enough red jewels to do that. Now that he's in underground tunnel, he's going to get his 4th crystal ball. So we'll probably see him do that. We get to see early Firebird in action, making short work of all these enemies. All right, so my thought is that once he gets his crystal ball, we'll see him go fight Viper. We'll see him go fight Sandfinger, and then Dark Gaia is right there for the taking.
Yeah, sort of solid arm after Viper.
Right. Okay. Yep. There. Oh, yeah. Yep. Z is angry. Yep. So Z got his go mode item, and he gave a little victory / salty little dance there.
A show of protest, maybe.
I know. He's like, I didn't come here because I didn't have the key. No one told me that the key was in the vanilla location. I'm sure he's blaming Bagu right now. Bagu, randomize your game. Is this even randomized? I can just hear it from across the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, we didn't mention it earlier. This is a matchup of Germans here in the semifinals, which is kind of funny.
Indeed. All right. Okay, so I guess he's gonna go solid arm. You're no Daisy. You're no Daisy at all. Fun fact. So I changed all the dialogue that Jeweler gives you in the game. Every one of his dialogue is a quote from Doc Holliday from the movie Tombstone, which is an American classic, and I recommend it to everybody. I'm your Huckleberry.
Is that also the what an ugly thing to say, Ed?
Yes.
Bit that he says after you defeat him?
Yeah. Why, Ed? What an ugly thing to say. Does that mean we can't be friends no more? So many great quotes. R.I.P. Valk.
Is he going through Leg City, just as Suborskar did?
Yep. Making pretty short work of everybody. He has pretty beefy stats at the moment, so he's just, absorbing all of these, Normally, if you get in here early, you get hit once or twice and you're toast.
Oh yeah, doing this early is awful. Both runners navigated this dungeon really well.
Yeah, no mention deaths.
Not as easy as they make it look.
Bottom. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
I'm never gonna hear that now.
Zoinks! Alright, so Z also finding Mr. Freet's God Pixel and is making short work of... And look, he's already gone. Where was Friar, Suborskar is asking. I actually have the spoiler log for up.
It was in the last Cress Dark Space, I believe.
That's right, it was in Cress. Yeah. And you never went back after... I saw you got trolled, Suborskar, right after you single dipped Cress with your 1 mushroom drop. You went to Babel after that and got your 2nd mushroom drop. It ended up working out for you, though, because there wasn't anything back. Alright, 2 Mystic Statues down. Alright, so... I'm sure Z is off to Sky Garden. Fastest way to get there is to warp, because we started in Sky Garden, so he's just going to warp right there, take care of Viper, and he's probably going to have an end time within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean, this race is also going to end up being relatively close. All of the races we've had so far have been... the first 2 were, I think, within like 3 minutes for the top 2 runners in both cases, which in this randomizer is not particularly common. Often you see pretty significant time differences just because of all the different routing permutations that can happen.
Right. It must be a fashionable fight. It's drawn the finest people. Wait, who in chat can tell me what that's a reference?
Something I'm probably way too young to know.
Gosh, rub that in, why don't you? I am an old man. I was actually alive when this old enough to play it.
No, I don't. It really is not a bragging point. I think I'm significantly younger than probably everyone who has played this randomizer.
Okay, well let's talk about that. What? So it seems like it wasn't necessarily. Well, let's see. Well, when were you introduced to Illusion of Gaia? Just the original game. How?
I was introduced to it because my dad played it, and I watched him play it and thought it was really cool. But I mean, even when I watched him play it, the game was already over a decade old at that point. So,
Man, that's so cool. That's not something I've thought of. I mean, I'm of the generation. I'm 42 right now, so I'm of the generation where I feel like we were kind of the first, the video game generation. You know, sure, my parents had access to like Pong and Atari and things like. It wasn't really something that was really mainstream with my parents' generation, and so seeing that we're now in the place where we actually have parents who were of my same generation and are sharing their love of classic games with their children. It's kind of a cool and nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have my oldest son sitting right here next to me. Yeah, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Yep, this is my son, and he's kind of watching over my shoulders, been really quiet and really great. And yeah,
Has he
so
played this game?
same kind of thing. So Fico is asking if you've played this game? A little bit, yeah. So we got a controller for him, and he learned how to learn the movement and how to use the loot and all that kind of stuff.
Learn some free dashing.
Yeah, we haven't gotten quite there yet. I might teach him free dash on the keyboard. I actually don't play with a controller. I play on the keyboard, and free dashes
That's
are.
Right. You're a cheater.
I am a cheater. I mean, free dashes are free.
All right, and Z is also closing in on the end here. Looks like it's going to be about a 10-minute time difference, a little bit more than that.
Yep. Solar saying we may have our work cut out for us. I agree. I mean, Suborskar is definitely the sleeper, like the wild card in this particular situation. Just I've been nothing but impressed with his play in the 2 races that I've seen him in.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be an unbiased commentator, but deep down, I'm going to be pulling for him a little bit. I'll be honest.
GG. I'm biased as heck, and I am not ashamed to admit it. I like seeing new guys because I know that Z has a cube under his belt. I like to see as many people get cubes as from the shows the depth of the bench, if you will, in the community.
Yeah.
All right, GGZ. Way to go. Z will probably come in for an interview. Let's see if he pops in. I am prepared for the salt. I'm steeling myself. Oh yeah, there he is. All right, how do we bring him in? I don't even know how to. Here we go. Hi Z, how are you?
Hello. Yeah.
Hi.
Nice game, Bagu.
sorry, I forgot to randomize that prison key.
I noticed.
I didn't get around to doing that one.
I'm not even mad. I thought if anybody deserved it, it was Suborskar. He just played out of his mind in the week before and this weekend. So I'm not even mad. Honestly, it's just like he must have gotten everything done so much faster because I just saw on the stream we had like the same the same stuff. I thought I had a better start because cool, 2 mushroom drops before I go crest. Let's do that. Actually, let's skip Angkor Wat. That was probably a mistake. I don't know. Yeah, Walden says it. Throw twice for finding Freya. Kinda. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, that was so funny when you had the prison key and then 2 crystal balls just behind the prison key because I could have done that way earlier and I just never thought about it. So yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
well
saw your
played.
little salty dance there.
Yeah. I did that. I knew he was already finished right from the race room, so I assumed you were going to react on it if I did that. So
You want to know something interesting?
Yep.
This could have been a sub 1 hour seed because it turned out that around the 50-minute mark, Suborskar was in go mode. He had all the items to do the boss rush, but he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough
I thought
jewels.
about it. I thought about it, but then I was like at 36 jewels, and I still didn't have my 3rd boss kill. So I was like, yeah, no, boss rush is never gonna happen. I have to clear so much more stuff. I'm gonna find those 2 red jewels for sure. But I had it in the back of my mind when I had such an early crystal ring and such an early Kara. I mean, I didn't get her for the longest time, but I could have gotten her like half an hour in. So
right,
I was I kind of delayed it because I thought, nah, I have Freya now. I don't need early Firebird. I don't need Kara that desperately. I was hoping to find my 2 bosses, and that I could just go mode Angkor Wat, because if you don't take all these items, Angkor Wat is really fast.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping I could just go mode Angkor Wat. In the end, didn't pan out. Like I said, not really salty. It's definitely well deserved from Suborskar. And yeah, I'm kind of hyped for the finals right now because Fico, I'm so sorry. I will push myself into commentary for this one because I want to see that right as it happens. So you'll have to live with me for the next couple of hours. Very sorry about that.
I think the commentary is going to be great, and I think the finals are going to be great. I'm really excited as well.
Yeah. So about the time plan, we have the final scheduled in half an hour. We will try to hit that schedule. So I'm just gonna get the finalists all prepared. We're gonna decide on the final settings. We will play a bit more complicated settings. I've heard Chaos Logic is is definitely gonna happen, and maybe something else. We'll figure that out, and then we will be coming back at it's half an hour. It's about half an hour. It's 8 p.m. for me for the German. I think it's 2 p.m. for Eastern America, US. So yeah, we hope you'll stick around. Hope we'll see you there. It's definitely gonna be. It might be a new champion again in the 5th year. Bagoo and Suborskar both are grabbing for the first one. Solar, who is the best speedrunner in this roster, could grab his second as the first player who ever gets a second title.
Man, so no matter what happens, something exciting.
Yeah, something exciting is gonna happen, and I really can't. I really can't wait to see this. So yeah, thank you very much for Bagoo for commentating this, and now having to get ready for the finals. I hope you will crush it like you crushed me yesterday.
What a great sport you are, Z. I appreciate it.
After all the trash talk I did, I think I kinda deserved it. So yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go eat my humble pie now. Thank you very much. No.
See,
yeah.
What did I tell you, folks? This is the best community on the internet, hands down. I'll put it up against any community out there as far as just sportsmanship and just good-natured trolling, and it's just a really fun community to be a part of. Z is just like the prime example here of just the kind of personalities that we have in there. I'm going to throw the Discord back up here so y'all can join us. The more the merrier. Anyone who's interested in playing this game, iogr.app. Go on and roll a seed. You'll get stuck. You'll reach out to the community within 20 minutes or so. Someone from the community is going to come in and very, very patiently and lovingly bring you along, teach you about the randomizer. It's going to be a great time. Hope you all can
video
join
guides
us.
there as well. Like we have a couple of playthroughs. We have tips and tricks. So like the ramp jumps, how to execute them. that you saw in Sky Garden, for example. Those look really impressive if you don't know how they're working, but once you figure them out, they're actually super easy. So we have videos for that. We do have a German dungeon by dungeon guide, even Bas Renter, who was playing in the finals last year, and I did that once. So if you're not US but speaking other weird languages like German, we also have stuff on there. We have some stuff in French, so French or Canadian people also are getting included. So it's really, really a lot of resources you can use, and of course a lot of players you can just ask, because even though we don't have like monthly races, we're still all playing this a lot.
Yeah, so the community is kind of like that best friend that you live in different cities, you don't see each other that often, but then when you do meet each other again, it's like just picking back up where we left off. You know, it's almost like there was no time at all. You know, whether or not we play regularly, whether or not we have, you know, regular tournaments or weekly seeds or any of that kind of stuff, it's just still the great community through and through, and you know, people are just happy to enjoy each other's company and play this great game. You can see here on the screen what the final prize, the cube. You know, shout outs to Link, who is the artist who put this together. Z, I think you were instrumental in kind of pitching the concept for this, and I think it turned out really well.
As always with Link, I had a vague idea, and then he just like, how about we do it like this? And it was like, oh my god, this is so amazing. Yes, please, let's do it. So he's really a great artist, has been working with us since the first year. So everybody, maybe giving a little bit of hype in the chat. I'm sure he's also here and watching. Also, he has a special deal. If you use the code Gaia 2025 in his shop, you will get a discount of 30% for this weekend. I think he always turns that off by the end of Monday, but so you still have 2 days to check in. He really has a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of video game related stuff, so I'm sure you can find something you like in there. But yeah, I think Bagu needs to get ready to grab the title now.
Oh, Z, I was born ready.
You were born ready. You know what happened when I was too cocky yesterday, so don't make that mistake.
Hey, you know what?
You know, I cannot lose in this final. Either Bagu wins it, which would be the first-time champion, or Suborskar wins it, which would be a fellow German, so the trophy stays in Europe, in Germany even, or Solar wins it, which means a teammate of mine wins. So I simply cannot lose in this final. I can just be hyped and excited.
Everyone's a winner. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and cut this so that we can prepare for the next one. Roll the next seed. Do all that kind of stuff. I am Don't Bagumi. I am the humble founder of this. If you know, Raven Zero has kind of taken the mantle and has made it into just an amazing thing with all these new challenges and stuff like that. But I'm the old has-been who kind of started this thing, and I'm happy to kind of watch the children grow up. And I've been joined here by Fico on comms. Fico, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everyone. Tune in about half an hour, and we will get to the finals. Then it'll be great.
Right on. All right. See y'all in about a half hour.
Yeah.
Yep.